Going back in time just a little bit today to take a look at something that I've always thought is a little bit of a gem by way of the GDO Springer, courtesy of our buddy Maximal 10. Yeah, he might not be a triple changer, but that doesn't mean he isn't great. We're going to focus on this guy in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you are at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton and lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below. Also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this is the GDO Springer. And I've always thought it to be a little bit of an oddity. Way back in the day, I, like many people, wanted this Springer. I wasn't into like online purchases and whatnot, so I really wasn't sure where to get it. I was probably like after the release and whatnot. I would have probably had to go to like the aftermarket and so on and so forth. Not too long after, I ended up discovering the Generation Springer, which I love. That Voyager is fantastic. And it is a triple changer, so obviously it would be better than this guy. And of course, since then we've had the Siege one as well, which, while the transformation is kind of complicated in certain ways, certainly related to the chest with that guy, I think a lot of people would agree that, at least for the main line, that's about the most idyllic Springer that you can possibly get. Granted, there's some MP and MP alike versions that, you know, are obviously better. But for mainline collectors and fans, one of the earliest, if not the earliest, non-G1 Springer was this guy. And there's things here that I really do like. It's unfortunate it's not a triple changer, but does that really destroy the joy here? Does that really make this bad? Well, we're about to find out when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And so here we have the enigmatic 2012 GDO Springer. And I say enigmatic because let's kind of put this in perspective. So we had the G1 Springer way back in 1986, and after that, in timelines, we had some, like, I'm going to say like Classics Universe type of version of him that, I think he used like a Cybertron Defense hotshot. Like, he had a Cyberplanet and stuff, right? It was obviously an adaptation where he just turned into like an armored van type of thing. Then in 2008, they used like the, I'm going to say it was maybe Blades and maybe Evac. Yeah, it was the Evac mold, which was used for Blades. I actually reviewed Blades here, and it was also decoed in green, as like part of like a multi-pack or something, and looked pretty good. But again, it just turned into a helicopter, and there may have been another couple, but by 2012, just before we had the Triple Changer Generations one in 2013, we had this guy come out just a little bit in advance, and granted, he's not a triple changer, which is a bit unfortunate. He's only the helicopter, but this is a great looking helicopter mode. These rotate around, not freely, but they do rotate around. He's mostly gray with some yellow highlights. I wish that there was more green here. This is another mold reuse. This was Tomahawk, which I think was like a live action Tomahawk from like Reveal the Shield, or some of them, I don't know, one of the movie verse lines, Hunt for the Decepticons maybe? I don't know, one of the movie verse lines, and it got redecoed into this. GDO, for those not in the know, stands for Global Development Organization, and it was basically like a whole bunch of Transformers that were like reuses and repaints. I think there was like 6 or 8 that were part of this like big box, and it was meant for like Asian markets like China and whatnot, but it got picked up by Toys R Us to be released in the US, and I think in Canada for like the holiday season. It was a really weird line, kind of short-lived, so if you got this, cool. I think that this might have been used a couple of other times too, but I can't remember for who. I don't know, other helicopters, a Death Cobra, Whirl maybe, I don't know, Spinister, I don't know. But this mold was used a few times, and I know it was Tomahawk first and became this guy after. So as a helicopter goes, yeah, it's pretty great. It's going to be really hard for me to do accuracy here. I'm not going to show it next to the Generations helicopter or even the Siege helicopter because they are obviously more accurate. I can say this, the two I guess blasters back here, and they're launchers, like they're spring-loaded launchers. They have C-clips that can attach back here, or they also have pegs on them, 5mm pegs, that could go up under the wing. Normally I'd put them under the wing, and indeed I will. However, in helicopter mode, I find I leave them on the back now because he also comes with a sword. And that sword needs to store somewhere. There is no dedicated sword storage in helicopter mode. Don't think there's any dedicated sword storage in robot mode. So you gotta kind of find somewhere to put it. I put it right here under the wing and put these on the back. It's not ideal. I wish that these blasters were under the wings. But if you do that, then you literally have nowhere to put the sword. At least not that I can find. Okay, that said, we're going to take the sword off and we're going to detach these from the back. By the way, not for nothing, if you really wanted to fire them, I mean, they still fire no problem. I'm just going to reach and get all of that out of the way. We will do the transformation in a second, but before we do the transformation, this seems like an apropos time to show his big, beautiful, beefy set of instructions where we see the transformation, the way he comes in package, which is helicopter to robot, but on the other side, we have it from robot back to helicopter. Man, I remember when we used to have both directions shown on instructions. Oh, what a golden era. His packaging also has a bio on him about like how heroic he is and has some leadership qualities and stuff. Bios. I miss bios and I miss instructions done this well. Not for nothing, but that's his blaster up closer, which I think is pretty cool. And his sword up closer. It's nicely painted with silver. I mean, the handle and the Minicon ports on the side, like he could hold it by any of that, I suppose. And here we have our helicopter boy. I'm going to close these up because we might as well do the transformation. We'll give this guy scores after. We'll close those up. We'll also close these over like this and then close them all the way down. And when we close the blades, don't let them stay up like this. Really, they need to stay down like this. It'll just make the transformation easier. Let's do the lower body next, where we can pick off the lower body. We can really kind of straighten out a leg and straighten out a leg. I gotta go that way. And split the legs there, connected at the knee with a round peg that goes into a round port at the kneecap, basically. But that's sort of the lower body done. We take this whole gray armature and we can bring it back there for now. Just out of the way. Actually, it's going to stay down straight, really. Then we can take the nose cone. And we should be able to bring the nose cone section down. Oh, fold in the landing gear there. Bring the nose cone section down. Make sure the head stays up for now. Right? So nose cone is down. Legs are out. Then we can split the arms basically apart, take up this and take up this, and now we can lift the arms using this green piece, lift the arms out to the side. Over here again using that green shoulder piece, we make sure the arm is unpegged from the back. There. And lift up this wing out of the way and pick that up. Okay, cool. So far, so good. We're going to angle the arms down. And now we're going to take these sections and we're going to fold them up. They do kind of soft tab into place. Once we have those up, we're going to stand our boy up and finish him off. Okay, so now we can... make sure that's pushed down. Turn the head around. Then for the arms here, we fold this piece in and we fold it up, and that'll bring the hand out, which is, I guess, is connected to this gray armature here. Again, these can still open and close. They're like pinchers, I guess, on this arm. This arm does not have the pinchers. This does not open and close, but we transform it the same way and we pick it up. course, we turned that head around. And the last things to do is give him a sword in his hand. And I guess we can take these and pick it up under the wing so that's over his shoulder, and take this one and do the same thing. Pick it up under the wing so that it's over his shoulder. And boom, in the end, here we have GDO Springer in his robot mode. The transformation, I'm going to tell you now, I love it. I think it's very smooth. I don't know how smooth it came across on camera here, but I find the transformation very, very smooth. I'm going to give it a 10. I think it's a fun transformation to do. I love the way the arms both fold up and unfurl to become the upper tail section of the helicopter. I love how the big chunky sides of the chest fold back. I love how the head is hidden under the nose cone, and that's not a faux cockpit or anything. I love all of that. I think it's really good. The legs, while they look weird, are actually pretty darn functional, and they fold up elegantly and neatly underneath. They even have landing gear on them. So a 10 for the transformation. When it comes to look, however, well, maybe the best way to kind of address this is with a couple of comparisons. So not for nothing, but Springer here is a deluxe next to two Voyagers, although I'm using that term a bit loosely. So Voyager Springer over here is closer to the size he should be. Voyager Springer over here scales the same height as Rodimus Prime, the Kingdom Rodimus Prime. If you put those two Voyager sizes together, they're the same scale. And guess what? If you look at the Sunbow chart, they should be the same scale. Hot Rod should be shorter than Rodimus, of course, should be shorter than Springer. And the 86 is shorter. But you'll also note that the 86 they try to pass off as a Voyager. And you can see he's no bigger than the GDO, and I assure you he is no more complicated than the GDO. So the GDO probably a bit too small for Springer. I'll take these out of it. But at the time before the Generations and long before the Siege ever came out, this was, I think, an acceptable Springer. Naturally, it's not a triple changer. Naturally, there's too much grain, not enough green. The best I can give this for looking like Springer is like a 3. It's like it's loose, it's rough, but at the time it would have filled the bill. Now, it's obsolete. Let's be realistic. Fun mold, but obsolete. So a 10 for the transformation, a 3 for the look. Let's do the articulation and get out of here. So we have, of course, the wings that can go up and down and really turn all around, kind of, sort of, and get out of the way, which is nice. The head can go left, right, up, and down as well. The shoulders, I mean, both of them. Let me take that out of his wrist, out of his hand for now. The shoulders, I mean, again, they can go forward all the way. They can go well back. Yes, you might have to get this wing out of the way, but it's easy to do. Yes, you might have to get the helicopter blades out of the way, but it's easy to do. So full range really at the shoulders. We get a bicep swivel. We get 90 degrees at the elbow. And this is true for both arms, by the way. 90 degrees at the elbow. Waist, no wrist. So no waist, no wrist. The legs can go well forward. The legs can go well back. Out to the side. Hold on. The arms, they can go well out to the side. Not perfect, but well out to the side. The legs can go well out to the side. Again, not perfect, but close enough. Thigh swivel. Knee to 90 degrees. But then also this other kind of ankle-y knee, like a chicken leg type of thing. Like you'll get the depth you need for poses. Forward and back at the toe and the heel, no ankle. So no ankle, no waist. Hold on. No ankle, no waist, no wrist. Sign of the times, right? And not for nothing, but when this came out in 2012, the economy was kind of in the toilet, because that's the same era where we got things like the FOC, Deluxe, Jazz, and Sideswipe, which were pretty rough, certainly at the shoulders. I enjoyed them, but it's certainly sign of the times. Or the FOC Voyager Grimlock, who has all the mass, but he also had a lot of hollowness. So this was part of that era when it was difficult to produce stuff because the economy was not great. And they still managed to pull this out with a lot of articulation and big enough feet that he's quite solid. He's missing a couple of things that we've become accustomed to over the last few years. Waist, wrist, and ankle tilt would have been nice here. I'm going to give the articulation, you can still get a lot of great dynamic poses with them. I'm going to give the articulation a solid, I don't know, he was getting a 10 and a 3, so he was already getting somewhere around, I don't know, middle of the road between 10 and 3. 7, we'll say. 7.5 was middle of the road. We'll give the articulation, say, an 8. Overall, this guy is about a 7.75. It's fun. I don't think I would go back and try and get it for Springer, but if you can get the mold as a different character like Tomahawk, why not? It's still absolutely fun for that. As a Springer, it's certainly been made obsolete. Better versions exist, but for what this is, it's still pretty fun. Overall score, 7.75. And here we are once again, and here he is back in his helicopter mode. And like, I dig this, I like this. I'm glad he comes with his sword. He's well known for having that. A lot of times it's his rotors that become his sword, but you know what? A dedicated sword, I like. The 2 spring-loaded blasters, I mean, cool. Why not? They have both, you know, the pegs and the C-clips. I mean, man, oh man, such versatility as to where you can put those. Again, I like the way that they handled the rotors up top. I think in terms of being a helicopter, it's a great looking helicopter. Could very much be a version of like a Skyhammer or a Death Cobra. Like this would work great for Death Cobra, you know? Like there's a lot of options here. But as an adaptation for Springer, to give us a great version of the helicopter mode, yeah, arguably more gray than it should have been. Maybe should have been more green, but I'm not hateful on it. When we get to the robot, it feels very much like a movie aesthetic, as if Springer was in the movie, at least to me. But it's a very functional, very enjoyable transformation that gives us a very functional, very enjoyable robot that, you know what, certainly can pass off as Springer. Outdated, probably hasn't aged that well, but still a ton of fun. Let me know what you think about GDO Springer. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button. Stick around, please, and thank you, and have some fun with us here on the channel. And don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.